Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Simple English Talks. I'm so happy you're here with us today. It's wonderful to have you listening, whether you're on your morning commute, taking a little break at work, or winding down at home in the evening. We really appreciate every single one of you who tunes in to learn with us. It means the world.
Hey there, everyone. Great to see you all again. I have to say, I was really excited when we chose today's topic because I think it's something every person can relate to. We all have busy, stressful weeks. We all feel tired sometimes, and we all need to take care of ourselves. This feels like the perfect topic for a Friday afternoon.
Absolutely. And honestly, just talking about this topic is already making me feel a little more relaxed. It's been one of those weeks, you know? I had meetings every single day, a mountain of emails to get through, and I completely forgot to eat lunch on Wednesday. Can you believe that? I was just so busy that food didn't even cross my mind.
Oh no, that's terrible. But that's exactly why today's topic is so important. Today on Simple English Talks, we're going to talk all about how to relax after a busy week. You're going to learn real English words and phrases that people actually use when they're tired and need some rest. Not textbook sentences, but real, natural English.
By the end of this episode, you're going to be able to describe how you feel after a long, hard week. You'll know how to talk about your favorite ways to relax and unwind. And you'll even be able to give helpful suggestions to a friend who really needs a break. This is very practical, very everyday English that you can use right away.
And before we jump in, we have a question for you right from the start. We want to know, what do you usually do? Now, let's also talk about negative forms, because sometimes you want to describe a week when you did not get enough rest. You can say, I didn't get enough sleep this week, or I didn't have any time to relax. You can also say the very common phrase, I've been so busy lately. And here's one you'll hear all the time in real conversations. It's been such a crazy week. These phrases are perfect for starting a conversation with a friend on Friday. Can you think of a week when you could have said that?
I can think of about 50. Here's one more expression that people use all the time, and that sounds very natural. I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to something means you're excited and happy about something that's coming soon. I'm really looking forward to relaxing. I'm looking forward to doing absolutely nothing this Saturday. These phrases show hope and positivity, and they're perfect for casual conversation. Write one of them in the comments. Tell us what you're looking forward to this weekend.
So let's do a quick summary of everything in this section. For words that mean tired, remember, tired, exhausted, worn out, and drained. For talking about needing to relax, use unwind, recharge, and take a break. And for talking about your week, try, I've been so busy. It's been such a crazy week. And I'm really looking forward to the weekend. You've already built a fantastic toolkit of vocabulary. Great work, everyone.
Wonderful. So now we know how to say we're tired and that we need rest. But let's go one step further. Let's talk about how people actually relax. What specific things do you do when you finally have free time? Being able to describe your weekend activities is a very natural and important part of everyday English conversation. When your friend asks, "What are you doing this weekend?" you need to know what to say. And now you will.
Exactly. And this is the fun part. Let's start with a really simple and useful structure. I like to plus an activity. For example, I like to watch movies on the weekend. I like to read a good book. I like to take a long, hot bath and forget about everything. All of these sound completely natural and friendly. You can also use I enjoy. I enjoy cooking a big Sunday meal. I enjoy going for a long walk in the park. Try making your own sentence right now using I like to or I enjoy. Say it out loud.
And here's one of my personal favorites. My favorite way to relax is. This sounds more personal and thoughtful than just, I like. For example, my favorite way to relax is watching old comedies on the sofa with a big bowl of popcorn. Or, my favorite way to relax is sitting in a quiet coffee shop with a good book. This structure is also great for conversations because when you say it, people always want to know more. It naturally invites the other person to share theirs too.
Oh, that's such a great point about conversation. Now let's talk about specific activities and the verbs that go with them, because word combinations really matter in English. We say watch TV, not see TV. We say listen to music, not hear music. We say go for a walk or take a walk. We say take a nap, definitely not make a nap. And we say read a book. Straightforward, but these fixed phrases are important. Using the wrong verb is a very common mistake that we can easily avoid.
Now let's talk about the difference between formal and informal ways to describe relaxing, because this really helps you sound natural in different situations. In a more formal setting, maybe telling a colleague, you might say, I plan to rest and recharge this weekend. But with your friends, you'd almost certainly say, I'm just going to chill at home. Chill. Have you heard that word before? It's incredibly popular in casual English. What are you doing Saturday? Oh, just chilling. Everyone understands it, and it sounds completely natural.
And here's a fun one you're going to love. Veg out. It sounds a little funny, doesn't it? Like a vegetable. But veg out means to totally relax with zero effort. Usually lying on the sofa, watching TV, maybe eating snacks, with absolutely nothing on your to-do list. I'm going to veg out all weekend. Very informal, very common, very natural. And here's another great modern one. Binge watch. This means watching many episodes of a TV show in one sitting. I'm going to binge watch that new series this weekend. Very relatable in today's world.
Ha! Guilty as charged. I definitely binge watch sometimes. Okay, let me give you 3 quick tips for talking about your weekend plans. First, use going to for definite plans. I'm going to relax all weekend. Second, use thinking of for ideas you haven't finalized. I'm thinking of going to the park. Third, use hope to for wishes. I hope to get 10 hours of sleep. Practice those 3 structures and you'll sound very natural when talking about your.
And one last very important thing before we move on. Don't forget that some people relax by being physically active. Some people blow off steam by going to the gym, running, or playing a sport. Blow off steam means to release built-up stress through physical energy. After a rough week, I blow off steam by going for a long run. So relaxation doesn't always mean sitting quietly. Active relaxation is just as valid. Now, here's a comment prompt for you. Which do you prefer, quiet relaxation or active relaxation? Tell us in the comments.
All right, we're moving into our third main section, and this one is really fun because it focuses on conversations with the people around you. Imagine your friend or a colleague comes to you and says, I've been so stressed lately. I don't know what to do. What do you say to them? How do you help someone you care about in English? That's exactly what we're going to practice, giving relaxation suggestions and advice in a natural, warm, and caring way.
And this is so important for real relationships. When we care about people, we want to offer help. So let's start with the most common advice structure in English. You should. For example, you should take a break, or you should get some sleep tonight. This is clear and direct, and people understand immediately what you mean. However, and this is really important, You should can sometimes sound a little bossy or strong, depending on your tone and the situation. So we definitely need some softer, friendlier options too.
A much softer and more friendly way to give advice is, why don't you? For example, why don't you take the afternoon off? Or, why don't you try a relaxing walk tonight? This feels more like a caring suggestion from a friend rather than an instruction or a command. Another very gentle option is, have you tried? Have you tried meditation? Or, have you tried going for an evening walk? This one is especially good because you're asking about their experience rather than telling them what to do, which is always more respectful.
Oh, I love both of those. And here's one more great phrase that sounds very polished and very natural. You might want to, for example, you might want to get to bed a little earlier tonight. You might want to take a full day off this week. You might want to try some light stretching before bed. See how gentle and pressure-free that sounds? It's giving advice without any force at all. Let's practice all four together right now. You should, why don't you, have you tried, and you might want to. Say them out loud.
Perfect! Now let me show you all four of these in action with a little demonstration. I'm going to pretend I'm your completely stressed out, exhausted friend after the worst week ever. Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Oh no, you look absolutely drained. You've been pushing yourself so hard all week, haven't you? You should definitely take the whole weekend off. No work, no emails, and definitely no checking your phone. Have you tried going for a slow walk outside? Sometimes just breathing fresh air for 20 minutes completely changes how you feel. You might want to put your phone on silent tonight so you can actually get some proper, deep sleep. And why don't you make yourself a nice, warm cup of tea right now and just sit quietly for a few minutes?
Wow, wasn't that wonderful? Did you notice how naturally all four structures fit together in one short, caring response? You should, have you tried, you might want to, and why don't you, all working together without sounding forced or repetitive. That's the real goal, to mix these phrases naturally so your advice sounds genuine and kind, not like a list from a textbook.
And now for the other side of the conversation. How do you respond when someone gives you advice? If someone says, you should take a break, you can respond with, that's a good idea. Or, I think you're right. Or, I'll definitely try that. These are warm, natural responses that keep the conversation going smoothly. You can also share what works for you by saying, honestly, I find that, for example, honestly, I find that a quiet evening at home helps me more than anything else.
Now here's your challenge for this section. Think of someone in your life right now who seems stressed or tired. What relaxation advice would you give them using one of our four structures? Say the sentence out loud right now. Actually say it. Speaking out loud, even when you're completely alone, is one of the absolute best ways to improve your spoken English. Don't be shy. There's nobody judging you.
That is such great advice about practicing out loud. And of course, you can also write your advice sentence in the comments below. Tell us what you'd say to your stressed friend. Let's do a quick review of Section 3. We have four structures for giving advice. You should, why don't you, have you tried,